the province releases its mid-year financial update, how the budget is shaping up so far. Snowfall rolls through southern Saskatchewan as cooler temperatures arrive. And a new independent record label set for launch in Saskatchewan.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Nutrien has identified a site for a potential new ocean terminal in Washington state. The move drawing concern here in Canada, with critics asking why the new development is not being built in Vancouver. The Saskatoon-based potash company says it plans to expand its West Coast capacity by building a new export facility at Washington's Port of Longview, creating additional deepwater access in the Pacific Northwest. The Saskatchewan NDP is asking Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe to advocate for the project to be built in Canada instead, starting by speaking with BC's Premier on the topic.
See much investment being targeted for the west coast of our continent, Mr. Speaker. And then we see an ND Premier stand up, Mr. Speaker. That Premier says, we don't want oil in this port, Mr. Speaker, because you can't get a boat into it. And then that same NDP policy-making Premier, Mr. Speaker, questions why another industry isn't making that very investment in our nation.
According to Nutrien, a final investment decision for the proposed project is expected in 2027. The provincial government is introducing changes to the Saskatchewan Firearms Act as a response to a federal buyback program. Their legislation proposes that anyone who seizes a gun under new federal laws must pay the owner fair market value set by the Saskatchewan Firearms Commissioner. The province plans to launch an online portal to provide appraisals for all firearms, ammunition, and accessories included in the federal legislation that reclassified more than 2,500 guns as prohibited. The appraisals can then be used in court if necessary. The province is also giving the Saskatchewan Firearms Office the ability to collect and store firearms for gun owners who voluntarily turn them in an effort to prevent criminal charges for possessing prohibited weapons, while any compensation from Ottawa is pursued. 3 men accused of violating Saskatchewan's immigration protection laws made their first court appearance today. Kartakumar Prashkumar Patel, Rutvik Hashmukbai Patel, and Piyash Kumar Mahbatai Patel are each charged with 3 offenses as employers under the Foreign Worker Recruitment and Immigration Services Act. They were originally charged with taking unfair advantage of foreign workers and charging foreign workers a fee for employment. Their defense lawyer asked for the case to be adjourned, allowing more time to review the charges. The case will return to court on December 15th. The Regina Police Service reviewed its crime stats for the month of October today at a Board of Police Commissioners meeting. And while there is largely a decrease in crime, homicides are up from last year. Last month, there were 2 homicides in Regina, making the total 10 so far in 2025. That marks an increase from 6 in 2024.
We don't have much control over whether or not those numbers are up or down. Unfortunately, this is an up year. From a policing perspective, I'm happy to say that we've laid charges in all of the instances that we've had. And so, you know, in terms of holding people accountable to the worst crimes out there, I'm happy to say that we're able to do that. And hopefully for families that is some small consolation in the fact that the perpetrators are being held accountable.
Essentially, the program.
Crime overall has decreased by 15% so far this year. Police in Maple Creek are investigating a fatal crash in southwestern Saskatchewan. Maple Creek RCMP say 2 pickup trucks collided at a grid road intersection in the RM of Reno on Monday morning. One of the drivers, a 71-year-old man from Maple Creek, was declared dead on scene by EMS. A passenger in the truck and the other driver were both taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police continue to investigate the crash. A Saskatchewan First Nation is raising issue with emergency response in northern communities after a couple was stranded on a remote island for nearly 2 days. Peter Ballantyne Cree Nation says earlier this month, a South End couple in their late 50s was stranded after their boat had engine trouble and began taking on water. Community members conducted the search because RCMP officers were unfamiliar with the area's lake systems. The couple was found nearly 48 hours later, suffering from hypothermia and in need of urgent medical care, but it took 6 hours to arrange a helicopter for them. The First Nation says the provincial and federal governments need to take action immediately to prevent similar incidents. The Saskatchewan Health Authority is warning residents about a possible measles exposure in Regina. If you were at the Sunrise Motel, Denny's on Victoria Avenue, Bass Pro Shops, Regina General Hospital, or Costco on November 20th, you're asked to monitor for symptoms for the next 21 days. Symptoms include fever, cough, runny nose, red eyes, fatigue, irritability, white spots inside the mouth, and a red, blotchy rash. If you or someone you know may have been exposed and is unvaccinated, unsure of their vaccination status, or develops any symptoms, you're asked to contact the health line at 811. A full list of locations with exact times can be found on ctvnews.ca/Regina. Health officials say the proper steps were taken when cockroaches were discovered in 2 rooms at the Regina General Hospital last month. The incident took place in the hospital's mother-baby unit, and there has not been any further evidence of cockroaches in the unit since the initial reports. According to the Saskatchewan Health Authority and Ministry of Health, the issue was raised by the opposition on Monday after concerned constituents reached out. Saskatchewan's health minister says the roaches were accidentally brought in by a patient and their family, and quick pest control action was taken.
The reality is that regardless of how people show up, the Saskatchewan Health Authority's job is to provide dignified and respectful care to whoever shows up at our doors. So, obviously when situations like this are discovered, those rooms are blocked off.
Both the ministry and the SHA also added any signs of roaches or additional pests would see the same quick response to ensure the space is safe. This year's provincial deficit projection is trending upwards. The government now predicts that it will end the year down $427 million. Unexpected wildfire and healthcare costs are cited as the main factors. Wayne Mantika has more.
The provincial government is facing criticism after a projected $12 million budget surplus for the year has turned into a forecasted deficit at mid-year of $427 million.
How on earth can that finance minister defend missing the mark by $500 million on our deficit?
The government believes Saskatchewan is still better off than most provinces.
Here's the situation. There are economic headwinds, but we are in a good place to manage those, Mr. Speaker. The fundamentals of our economy are still strong.
The cost of fighting wildfires this past summer was a major contributing factor. It exceeded budget estimates by $295 million. Healthcare utilization pressures added another $250 million, while government pension funds had to be topped up by $114 million. The added expenses were partially offset by additional federal transfers and higher revenue from various fees. Tariffs imposed by the U.S. and China had less of an impact on government finances.
But we've been fortunate so far that the vast majority of our products that are shipped from here are CUSMA compliant, and so we haven't had a huge impact. But having said that, we've got to get this trade issue settled.
The NDP say it warned of poor government forecasting.
And it's Agribition week. Frankly, cow patty bingo at the arena would be a better predictor of a budget than this finance minister and Sask party government.
The government projects that strength in natural resources, construction, and agriculture will continue to drive the economy, supported by growth in population and employment. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Parts of southern Saskatchewan were blanketed by snow overnight as a system moved along the Canada-U.S. border. The low-pressure system brought heavy snow to parts of southern Saskatchewan, including Coronac, Maple Creek, Estevan, and more, where about 10 to 20 centimeters of snowfall were recorded based on preliminary reports. According to Environment and Climate Change Canada, the heaviest snowfall was over higher terrain in southwestern Saskatchewan. Sabine Ahmed joins us now in the Weather Center. Sabine, some of those pictures from Estevan really showed the difference that only a few hundred kilometers can make in terms of weather conditions, especially as we get into these early stages of winter.
Well, even tracking it yesterday, watching it on the tracker, Cole, it was just a little loop that it was just avoiding Regina altogether, and you could see it everywhere. Everywhere else in southern Saskatchewan did see snow, and it's hard to believe a year ago at this time Regina was blanketed with snow. Today, as we take a look at our radar satellite, didn't really see much in terms of that active weather, and that system has since moved on south again, where it originally was arriving from yesterday. Taking a look at what's to come, well, we'll see more sunshine. The clouds are expected to break up heading into tomorrow as well. Temperatures, however, remaining into the seasonal range, if not getting cooler as we get into the end of this week. Current temperatures much cooler in Maple Creek, -13, -6 in Regina. The average daytime high usually hovering around about -3, -4 here in Regina. We warmed up to 1 degree today, but I'll have more details coming up in your full forecast. Cole?
All right, thanks, Sabine. Well, Agribition, always a time of handshakes and lots of deals. Day 2 was no different, with a double dose of partnership announcements as the Premier spoke to attendees. Jacob Carr reports.
Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe announced a new 5-year partnership renewal worth $575,000 between the Canadian Western Agribition and Canadian National Railway. Agribition says the agreement will ensure the continuation of CN's free admission day and reflects the company's ongoing commitment to the event. Moe also highlighted the importance of Agribition Week.
We recognize the value that this event brings to Saskatchewan, our province, our nation, but most importantly, the value that this event brings to our agricultural sector in the province. Agribition highlights Saskatchewan producers and their passion and their dedication to the industry.
Another agreement was struck on the day, this time between the Global Institute for Food Security and the Canadian Beef Improvement Network.
Something we've been working on for a decade now, and the resource that the Global Institute for Food Security allows us to be able to do this here in Canada. We need our data and our resources here within Canada to be able to help support Canadian beef producers.
The partnership will offer state-of-the-art DNA testing and analysis services for Canada's beef industry and eliminate the need for Canadian beef producers to send tissue samples abroad for testing.
I think that's the other thing that's really important is the data that we generate can add additional value to the industry participants by being able to have it all in one place to be able to scale it up and leverage it for new traits and technologies for the industry.
The goal of the partnership is providing the beef industry with a faster, secure, and more reliable pathway to gaining genetic insights and certifying pedigree, one of many innovations in agriculture on display at Agribition. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
And in an effort to get Agribition visitors to explore the city, Tourism Regina has placed giant 3D location pins all over Regina. The pins are located at several Regina landmarks, including Casino Regina, the Saskatchewan Science Centre, the International Trade Centre, and the Royal Saskatchewan Museum. Each pin has a QR code to scan, which takes the viewer to the Tourism Regina website, where they can find information about attractions and upcoming events. During Agribition, each QR code will offer a chance to win a prize. A pair of Saskatchewan country artists are getting their own music label off the ground. As Damien Smith reports, they're on the lookout for local talent.
Over a year into its label launch, Western Seer Records is on the lookout for new talent.
We have created community is people who are in it for the long game and value, I think, process over product.
Farming wives and farmers. Both independent artists themselves, the married couple is looking to guide others on their journey in the music industry.
And to be able to encourage and build a confidence in young artists to remain in the province and leverage some resources to assist with that is one of my most loftiest goals.
The first artist to release an album under Seer Records is Rocanville's Lachlan Neville. The couple believes that labels can provide opportunities to network with others in the industry and have seen it firsthand while working with Neville himself.
He did get in those communities very quickly, and people accepted him and saw what we saw, I think, sooner than had he been going it alone and trying to figure it out.
The Berglunds both have high praise and expectations for Neville, putting his name in with some of the greats.
It felt like we just stumbled across a once-in-a-lifetime individual, and I'll pick up the phone and I will confidently say, you know, you have your Guy Clarks and you have your Towns Van Zants and you have your Willie Nelsons, and there's a Lachlan Neville.
Neville will be joining Blake on his Trouble with the Truth tour, which will take them through several communities in Saskatchewan and Alberta over the next few weeks. Damian Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Staying on the musical theme, many local choirs are banding together to help charities across Regina. Going to be hearing plenty of those songs over the next month. The annual Knights of Columbus Carol Festival got underway last night. Choirs from all across the city gathered singing holiday music, lifting spirits and raising funds for charity, including Chili for Children, Carmichael Outreach, Access Communications Children's Fund, and the Knights of Columbus Coats for Kids program. If you weren't able to attend the first performance, another one will go ahead tonight at 7 p.m. at Knox Metropolitan United Church. Nominations are now open for the Regina Citizen of the Year presented by CTV. The Citizen of the Year award is given each year to someone who exemplifies excellence in community service and is making a difference here in Regina. To find out how to nominate that special someone, guides are available here at CTV Regina or through our website. Deadline for submissions is Friday, December 5th. We'll announce this year's recipient on New Year's Eve. After the break, a historical production of one of Canada's most famous trials on this week's Indigenous Circle, plus the latest on U.S.-led talks surrounding the conflict in Ukraine.
Greetings, everyone. A bill passed in Manitoba last year recognizing Louis Riel as the province's first premier, settling a long-running matter going back 150 years. The Métis leader was a controversial figure in Canadian history for many decades, but now thanks to the movement towards reconciliation and teaching tools like the production of the trial of Louis Riel, his image is now being remembered differently.
I was leading my people against this insanity when I was pounced upon.
A performance of the closing statement Louis Riel gave to the jury that would decide his fate in the same city where the trial took place. It's a significant moment in Canadian and Métis history, still being told 140 years later through a long-running historical theatre production.
The trial of Louis Riel has been a beacon of hope, of information, of reconciliation. But even before reconciliation, you need truth. And for all of these 59 years, the trial of Louis Riel has been about truth.
Along with this year's milestone, since the real trial of Louis Riel, next year will mark 60 years of the production itself. Its producer says during that time, opinions have slowly changed on Riel and his fate, especially after the creation of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in 2008.
Since then, the tide is kind of starting to turn. People are starting to realize that you cannot deny what happened to Louis Riel in 1885 in Regina.
Riel was put on trial for high treason in 1885 for helping lead the Red River Rebellion. After a 4-day trial, a 6-person jury found Riel guilty, sentencing him to death. He was hanged on November 16, 1885 in Regina, where the RCMP Heritage Museum now sits. Years later, concerns have been raised regarding how the trial was conducted, including jury selection, the location, and the behavior of Riel's legal counsel.
15 years, the Métis could not get a single representative.
With the 60th anniversary of the production coming up next year, plans remain to continue retelling one of the country's biggest court cases, and a moment which would forever alter the lives of the Métis people of Canada.
What I'm seeing today is a captive audience of people questioning what the truth really is about what happened to Louis Riel. And until you understand and accept that, you can't talk about reconciliation.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
As talks continue over the war in Ukraine, the White House is projecting optimism over a potential peace deal that could end the war. But as talks go on, so does the fighting. CTV's Joy Malbin has the latest.
With peace proposals on the table, Moscow is not letting up. Overnight, hundreds of drones and missiles pounded Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. A massive, deadly attack. Officials rescuing children from an apartment complex. This after talks in Geneva produced a framework for a possible peace deal.
Today, our team reported on the new draft of steps, and this is indeed the right approach. I will discuss sensitive issues with President Trump.
Ukraine's president wants to meet President Donald Trump in the next few days to finalize details of a new 19-point plan, heavily modified from the original proposal that critics called a Russian wish list that had Ukraine handing over territory to Russia, slashing Ukraine's army, and renouncing NATO membership.
We have no compromise on the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine, no compromise on national identity on Ukraine, no compromise on the armed forces of Ukraine as a key security guarantee.
Washington insists these aren't insurmountable details, sending U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll to meet with Russian officials in the United Arab Emirates. But even after that red carpet rollout in Anchorage last summer, Russia's Vladimir Putin has not budged.
President Trump was not able to get anything from Russia. He was not even able to get them to come to a ceasefire, something that Ukraine agreed a while ago. And so while these negotiations happen, Russia continues attacking us.
Donald Trump weighing in, saying tremendous progress has been made, but says he'll only meet with President Zelensky and President Putin when the deal to end this war is final or in its final stages. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington.
Back in Canada, proposed changes to BC's Mental Health Act could bolster a controversial policy, involuntary care.
The function of this section is to ensure that when this care is delivered, that the healthcare professionals who deliver it are legally protected, that they know that they have our support, we understand this is a challenging piece of work, and that they cannot be sued for delivering this care.
BC government officials say the proposed changes update a liability protection provision to better protect healthcare workers who provide involuntary mental health care to patients. Some argue involuntary care infringes on charter rights. BC's government says the goal is to help people who are so unwell they are unable to make decisions about their own safety. The city of Saskatoon has released its latest point-in-time count. The new numbers show 1,931 people experiencing various forms of homelessness in 2024. That marks an increase of 432 people compared with the previous count.
And we know that we do not have the facilities in Saskatoon to be able to fill what's happening. And it's scary. Our city's in a crisis when it comes to homelessness.
The Saskatoon Tribal Council's Wellness Center is expected to expand its hours within the week. The facility has recently hired 121 peacekeepers to ensure that it will operate 24/7 throughout the winter. A Toronto senior is facing charges after allegedly claiming a $1 million lottery jackpot for himself instead of splitting the winnings with a group. According to police, an investigation by Ontario Lottery and Gaming and the Ontario Provincial Police confirmed the winning Lotto Max ticket was part of a group arrangement and the $1 million prize should have been split among 3 people. The senior was charged with theft and fraud over $5,000 as well as property obtained by crime. 4 more people have been arrested in connection to a stunning jewel theft at the Louvre Museum in Paris last month. 2 men and 2 women are in custody, although the Paris prosecutor did not reveal what role they may have played. On October 19th, 4 thieves made off with French crown jewels worth over $100 million in a brazen daylight heist that made headlines around the world. So far, there's still no trace of any of the stolen jewels. Coming up, a Saskatchewan town's final push to keep their community's movie theater up and running.
Watch MasterChef Canada tonight right here on CTV. Then join me tomorrow morning when I'll talk to the latest eliminated home cook. We'll see you then.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at what your forecast is looking like heading into this evening and for most of the rest of this week. We didn't really have much when it comes to active weather coming through the Queen City, though to the south of us we did have quite a bit of snow come through. Currently sitting at -6, wind chill of -10, warmed up to -1 late this afternoon, and as we continue into the rest of the week, it's only expected to get cooler. And here's a quick look at what we did see over the last couple of hours. So we did start to see some of this cloud cover break up, but as we head into the evening, which I'll start to show you now, we will see a blanket of clouds returning into the overnight, and for many of us starting our day tomorrow, we'll see more of that cloud cover continuing. So again, this is the evening, and then as we head into the overnight and into tomorrow, most of Saskatchewan covered in clouds, and then as we head into the late afternoon, early afternoon, we'll start to see most of southern Saskatchewan clear out, leaving us with mostly sunny conditions for many parts of southern Saskatchewan before the clouds return for a nice evening Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Again, starting your Thursday with more cloud cover before again we'll see it break up later in the afternoon, and then leaving us again with mainly sunny conditions for the day. And then by Friday, we just have a cloudy Friday ahead, and we can also expect to see some of that snow coming back in. Mostly in the southwest again. Looks like by the time we get into the noon hour around Friday, could see anywhere between 1 to 3 centimeters of snow just kind of pocketed in this area. So that's where we're expecting the snow to return for Friday anyways. And again, heading into next week, it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing much snow either. But the temperatures, like I said, will continue to cool down quite a bit. So -9 for La Loche and Lloydminster tomorrow. -8, mostly cloudy for Prince Albert, -6 and cloudy for La Ronge, and -6, mainly sunny for Saskatoon. Mix of sun and cloud for North Battleford, -9, and -4 for Yorkton with a mix of sun and cloud. When we take a look at the southwest, we're still within that seasonal range. Again, the average daytime highs vary anywhere between about -3 to about -5, -6. So -2 for Maple Creek and Swift Current with a mix of sun and cloud, -3 with a mix of sun and cloud for Moose Jaw. And the southeast, similar temperatures, a little cooler in Estevan at -7, -6 for Weyburn, and -4 for Assiniboia, all seeing a mix of sun and cloud. Taking a look at Regina tonight, -12 is the expected low. Winds not too bad, up to about 15. And tomorrow, another -4 type of day, mainly sunny, and the winds up to about 15 as well. So not with the sunshine, it might make it feel like it's warmer, but -4 with no wind chill. I don't have a wind chill value for you there, but here's a look at what we've got coming up for the next 7 days, and it's going to be chilly, and the lows also quite cool. -17 is the low expected for Wednesday. Mainly sunny again, -4 tomorrow. Sunny on Thursday, -9. By Friday, we see that cloud cover rolling in as we saw on the tracker, -9 as well as the expected daytime high. The weekend looking a little cooler though. A mix of sun and clouds Saturday, -13. By Sunday, we'll see the winds picking up to about 35, mainly sunny, and -12. And then as we start our work week, Monday, a mix of sun and cloud, -11 is the expected daytime high. And then basically this is essentially the story we're going to be looking at for the next 2 weeks anyway. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't look like we have much snow in the forecast, but the temperatures, we're not going to be seeing above 0 temperatures anymore, which makes sense because we are inching closer to December, and it's only a matter of time before we do see more of that snow return cold. But as of right now, long-range forecast does not show a lot of heavy snow coming our way.
It's beginning to look a lot like winter.
Okay, yeah, we'll take winter.
At least in terms of temperatures.
Yes, yes, very much so. We were having a conversation. Some are already pulling out their winter jackets.
It's about that time of year, and winter tires as well.
Yes.
That's another one.
Better sooner than later. You don't want it when it's too late. Yeah.
If you haven't by this point, you're probably late. I hate to be the one to tell you.
Fair.
All right. Thanks, Sabine.
You bet.
Well, as Yorkton, Weyburn, and Estevan residents may remember, losing a movie theater, even temporarily, is a huge blow to any community. That's especially true in Ituna, where residents are rallying together to take over their local theater. CTV's Regina has the details on their efforts.
After losing its hotel to a fire 5 years ago, Ituna is faced with losing its only theater as well. Its owner decided to put the building up for auction, but now the local community is coming together to keep the projector on.
Let's save it. That was my feeling, and we've got to keep it. We've lost too many things in small communities. We have to keep these things going, and everybody has to step up and do their part.
So the locals got to work, taking a small-town approach to buy the theater.
We're raising money through a co-op model, Ituna investment co-op model, where people can give up to $1,000, goes into an investment account, and we're hoping to get enough to purchase the theater and own and operate it locally.
Terry Collodi has worked at the theater since he was 14, more than 40 years ago.
It means a whole lot. You know, this was like one of the hubs of the community. You know, everybody would come here on the weekend.
He says losing this place would be another heartbreaking blow to the community.
To lose this place would really kill the atmosphere on Main Street.
But the community's efforts aren't finished yet if they hope to keep the silver screen alive.
We're really hoping for this final push in the next few days where people will step up and donate, or not donate, but invest what they can, up to $1,000.
The community remains hopeful that people would buy a piece of the theater for Christmas.
Ituna actually won the 2025 Participation Award. So, I mean, the community spirit is here to do a lot of great things with this building if we can save it from the auction block.
The auction listing closes on Friday. Regina Declout, CTV News, Ituna.
Still ahead as the Saskatchewan Roughriders move from celebration to preparation. We'll hear from GM Jeremy O'Day as off-season activities begin.
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
A week after their championship parade, the Saskatchewan Roughriders are starting to get back to normal. Off-season activities continuing today with the signings of American offensive lineman Darius Washington and Canadian D lineman Liam Hoskins, one of the Riders' draft picks earlier this year. But as Donovan Mace reports, the team still has a long list of pending free agents.
There's been little rest for the Saskatchewan Roughriders football operations team since lifting the Grey Cup.
You kind of pass the Grey Cup around and you go back into the coach's office. And then now we're a week out and we're already back at it.
Now with 45 players set to become free agents, O'Day and his team are already getting to work to retain as many as they can.
I didn't have any players walk in and tell me they didn't want to be part of the team. So, but we haven't really gone down the road with all this. In fairness, we're just starting this conversation.
From the Alouette 35. Throwing. And it's caught. Down to the 5 and inside down to the 1.
That includes 39-year-old quarterback Trevor Harris.
I'd be shocked if I feel like I turn around and say like it's a wrap. But maybe I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know. Just because I don't want to put any pressure on it.
Now, while the Grey Cup MVP considers his future, O'Day says he would love nothing more than to have Harris back should he wish to continue playing.
I don't get the sense that he's done playing football, but we'd love to have him back. It's just a matter of having a conversation with him, and then once we get down the road to figure out a contract.
O'Day reiterates continuity of the roster will be a cornerstone for this team as they try to repeat as Grey Cup champions for the first time in franchise history.
We really like a lot of the players that are on our team, and we're going to try to get as many back. When you win, and especially when you win a Grey Cup, it becomes more difficult.
Now the Riders do have some time to chip away at their list of pending free agents ahead of the expected opening of free agency early next year. Donovan Mace, CTV News, Regina.
Some sad news in the world of curling today. Hall of Fame curler and longtime broadcaster Colleen Jones has passed away. Jones skipped her teams to the World Women's Championship in 2001 and 3 years later in 2004. The Nova Scotian competed in more Scotties Tournament of Hearts national tournaments than any other curler in history. Jones set a record as the youngest skip to win the Canadian title in 1982. She was a fixture in the curling scene when she began what would become a decades-long career in broadcasting, working for CBC as a reporter and sports host. Jones was 65. The announcement coming as the curling trials continue in Jones' home province of Nova Scotia. On the men's side, it was an all-Saskatchewan matchup in the afternoon draw.
Oh, no.
Okay. Oh, dear. Rylan Kleider crashing in on the guard in the third end on a draw attempt, giving up the steal of 5 to Mike McEwen. Despite getting 3 back the next end, Kleider would fall to his Nutana club rival 9-7. McEwen, now at 3-2, has the best chance of making the playoffs out of the two. Both are back in action tomorrow morning for the final day of round-robin play. One for sure. Coming up, Saskatchewan small businesses promote Small Business Saturday in between Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Got very confused as to what's about to happen. All right, let's take a look at your rural forecast for tomorrow. Again, we will be starting the day with a little bit of that cloud cover, and then we will start to see the clouds break up. Most of the sunnier conditions are expected to be in central southern Saskatchewan, and the temperatures, well, they are back into that seasonal range. Hudson Bay, mostly cloudy, -4, but a mix of sun and cloud for Outlook, and Kindersley, -4 there, -6 in Wynyard, -6 in Watrous, mainly sunny, and -8, mostly cloudy for Melford. A little bit more sunshine for Spiritwood at -8, and -9 and mostly cloudy for Meadow Lake and Lloydminster. Getting closer to that southern border, temperatures remaining in the same range, but a little bit more sunshine. -7 for Coronach, -2 for Maple Creek, -3 for Leader, -5 for Kenora and Broadview. All expecting to see a mix of sun and cloud, and mainly sunny for Lumsden and Pilot Butte at -4. If we take a closer look at Blaine Lake, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel, mainly sunny tomorrow, -8, wind chill of -11, and in the evening, -17 with a wind chill of -21.
A group of educational support workers gathered at the legislature today to call on the government to increase funding for schools. They released the results of a survey done in September that polled 750 CUPE union members working in 20 school divisions across the province. They say the results are alarming and caused by years of underfunding. Educational support workers include almost everyone who works in a school except for teachers. The survey says that burnout and stress is at unprecedented levels for janitors, bus drivers, library technicians, and educational assistants.
I can tell you every single day, every single person who is working in public education in this province goes home sad and dejected because we cannot do what education workers were hired to do in this province. That is to educate, support, and provide a safe and healthy workplace for children to learn in this province.
There was more funding put into classroom supports in this year's budget, about a 10 or 11% increase, and that does go to positions like EAs and other support staff. Is there work to do? Certainly there is, but I think we've made some significant strides over the past number of years.
The Minister of Education added he met with school support staff this past summer and heard their concerns. Saskatchewan's small businesses are hoping for a boost after months of sluggish consumer spending, and this weekend marking Small Business Saturday. November 29th is known as Small Business Saturday, placed right in between Black Friday and Cyber Monday. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business says low consumer demand is partly the result of families experiencing tighter budgets. According to the CFIB, as many as 20% of small businesses are expecting lower sales this season.
We're seeing confidence levels that are below historic levels. In Saskatchewan in particular, we have around half of our members saying that they're facing low demand, so a lack of consumer spending, and another half saying that they are dealing with skilled labor shortages.
The CFIB reports that for each dollar spent, many small businesses put more money back into their communities than some big box retailers, in addition to contributing to local sports teams and organizations. A local company is hoping the city of Prince Albert will remove its 3-store cap for cannabis retailers. At Monday's executive committee meeting, Into the Weeds Cannabis presented a request for Prince Albert to re-examine a bylaw that prevents the company from opening a new store. Prince Albert already has a 4th store in town. However, it is located on Sturgeon Lake First Nation land. Into the Weeds co-owner Megan Paladoir-Valeris says that Prince Albert is the only large Saskatchewan city still operating under a hard cap. Taking a look at the markets today, TSX was up about 296 points to 30,900. The Dow Jones up 664 points to 47,112. Looking at the Canadian dollar, it was down slightly today to 70.92 cents U.S. Moving on to commodities now. Looking at gold, it was down about $5.62 per ounce to $4,130. The West Texas Intermediate crude barrel price was down 89 cents to $57.95. Western Canadian Select crude, however, the inverse, up to $46.17 per barrel today. Gas prices per liter in Regina most commonly will be found at $129.9. Lowest you'll find is around $105.9.
Couche-Tard, owner of stores like Circle K, says it still plans to open 500 new stores by 2028. It already owns more than 17,000 convenience stores around the world. In its latest quarter, Couche-Tard reported profits rose 4.5% year over year to more than $740 million US. Meal deal sales helped push profits up. Best Buy expects to have a strong year-end, with Black Friday and Christmas driving sales. The company CEO says consumers remain resilient and are still spending, but cautiously. In its most recent quarter, Best Buy reported higher sales of computers and phones. While Best Buy may be optimistic about year-end spending, Americans are showing less confidence in the economy. The Conference Board says its consumer confidence index dropped to 88.7 November, the lowest it's been since April. Consumers say prices, inflation, tariffs, and trade all factor in. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
U.S. President Donald Trump took part in an American Thanksgiving tradition, pardoning turkeys for the national holiday.
Gobble, I just want to tell you this very important. You are hereby unconditionally pardoned.
Turkeys Gobble and Waddle were saved today. Gobble appeared before crowds while Waddle stole the show at the White House press briefing room. It's part of an annual humorous tradition granting the birds clemency before American Thanksgiving, which is on Thursday.
They're a bit late on Thanksgiving, the Americans. It's in October.
Correct. I don't think we can have this argument. I mean, not you and I, but in general. Okay, anyways, you know what? We'll keep going. We've all heard of a cat stuck in a tree, but how about this one?
An eagle found himself trapped nearly 80 feet up a large tree near Squamish, BC. Witnesses say he was spotted around Sunday with his wing wedged between branches, unable to get free. Squamish Fire Rescue was called in to help, and crews were able to untangle the bird and bring it down to safety. The Owl Rehabilitation Society is now caring for the eagle, helping what's expected to be a months-long road to recovery. The eagle has been nicknamed Maple.
Aww.
Happy to hear that Maple is okay and on the ground, which isn't usually where you want to find an eagle per se, but in this case, good to see that it was a successful rescue for Maple.
Maple. Was it a maple tree? Did I miss that part?
It may have been a maple tree. We'll have to find out and tell you tomorrow. Good night.